You could argue that the Italians have produced some of the most iconic motorcycle brands in the world. Think Ducati, Moto Guzzi, MV Agusta, Aprilia and Laverda. I reckon they also make the most stylish, and that brings us to the ultimate fashion accessory, the Vespa. It's a bike that's instantly recognisable and universally loved.
Awesome bike. Awesome.
So in 2021, Vespa celebrated 75 years of uninterrupted production in the Pontedera plant with the Anniversary Special Edition GTS300, which is essentially a GTS Supertech HPE with a special paint job. So the question is the Vespa Supertech GTS300 HPE a good bike for a pie run? The 75th Anniversary Edition is a real balance of being true to Vespa's heritage, but it's also a thoroughly modern interpretation of this delightful little scooter. The Vespa 75th Anniversary Edition has a brand new metallic colour called, I think it's Giallo Zolfo, sorry about that, or Gold, which was expressly designed for this series. It's a reinterpretation of the colours that were all the rage in the 1940s, but with a bit of a modern tone. It has the most fuel-efficient and powerful engine that Vespa has ever produced, a 278cc 4-stroke single-cylinder engine that's liquid-cooled, has electronic fuel injection and puts out about 23 brake horsepower. Suspension on the front is a single arm with a coil spring and a single shock absorber. On the rear there's a double hydraulic shock absorber with preload that is adjustable to 4 positions. It has 12-inch machined rims and the brakes are 220mm stainless steel discs on the front and rear, with 2-channel ABS and ASR traction control. It takes 8.5 litres of fuel, so it's not a massive tank, but I got approximately 4 litres per 100 kilometres, making it really good for just over 200 k's on a tank, which I think is excellent. It has a seat height of 790mm and weighs 160 kilos dry. Apart from the engine and the colourway, the star of this bike is the stunning 4.3 colour TFT that integrates with the Vespa MIA smartphone connectivity system. It's beautifully designed and I must say one of the better looking TFTs that I've seen. It has a luggage rack and a very comfy nubuck leather seat. The Vespa 75th Anniversary Edition will cost you $13,590 right away, with the standard Supertech HPE coming in at $13,140. Firstly, that TFT. It's gorgeous and it has everything you need, including a fuel gauge and a nice big speed indicator. The bike feels really solid. It's mostly all steel construction with very little plastic, and the paint and finish is all seriously high quality. Another thing I really liked was the gold colour. I know it's a bit divisive, but I really liked it. I really liked the glove box. It was convenient to store things like my phone and the security access card for the garage at my office. There was no need to take the gloves off and dig through pockets or a bag to find the card. Just press the key in and the glove box pops open. There's also a USB charging socket to keep your phone battery topped up. Now let's talk about the HPE engine. It's excellent and it has a really usable amount of power. It's great off the market lights and will let you cruise at freeway speeds if you have to. So I did a ride with the Vespa Club in Sydney up the Old Pacific Highway, and it was a heap of fun cruising through the twisty roads at about a speed of 60 to 80 kilometres an hour with plenty of power in reserve. But heading home, I decided to hit the freeway to see what it was like. Cruising at 110 kilometres per hour was absolutely no problem, although I would say at that speed, it didn't feel as solid and planted on the road as I would normally like, but more of that later. It's easy to own and it's extremely economical to run, but the thing that I like most about it is that it's a Vespa. This thing is seriously cool. It's got classic, stylish looks and a real touch of modernism with that TFT. Well, that glove box. It's great for storing things like your phone, but it does get seriously hot in there when riding around town. So I'm not sure how long you'd really want to leave your phone in there. So I was surprised to find that there's not as much storage as you would think under the seat. There's enough room for a bit of shopping, but not enough to fit a full face helmet. And just like the glove box, it does get seriously hot. So I wouldn't be leaving your gelato in there for too long when you're heading home from the shops. It's also not as stable as a motorcycle at higher speeds because of those 12-inch rims. As I mentioned, it will easily cruise at over 100 kilometers per hour, but I'll be honest, it didn't really feel that safe at that kind of speed on the freeway. I felt most comfortable between 80 and 90 kilometers per hour. So my advice is, if you've got some decent distances to travel on this, then take the back roads, where you don't have to do over 90 kilometers per hour for too long. The other thing to take into account with those small wheels is potholes. And because of the rain we've had lately here in Sydney, some of the road surfaces were truly atrocious. But luckily, it handles really well, so avoiding them wasn't too hard. But probably the worst thing about the Vespa GTS300 HPE is that because it's a scooter, motorcyclists tend not to nod back when you give them a nod. And I'm not just talking about Harley riders, because seriously, those guys don't nod to anyone. I nod to everyone when I ride, but on a Vespa, very few riders return my nod. So from now on, if you see a scooter rider, give them a nod. Okay, if you're riding on back roads or zipping through traffic, then the grin factor on the Vespa GTS300 HPE is an 8. I found myself smiling away as I rode around, and it didn't matter whether it was the back streets around Woolloomooloo or Newtown, or up the Old Pacific Highway with the Vespa Club, or down on my regular ride through the Royal National Park, because this thing is seriously fun and it's got a heritage that people just love. So I did a heap of different rides on the Vespa. I did freeways, commuting in traffic, off to Harry's and Woolloomooloo for a pie, and Spice Alley for lunch one day. Now, stay with me here. I'm a bit of a honey addict. I put it on cereal, in tea and in smoothies. While I had the Vespa GTS300, I rode down to the apple shack at Darks Forest to pick up a jar of local honey. Now, I'm just going to go on a bit of a rant. Everyone, no matter where you are in the world, needs to start buying local honey, and not the mass-produced stuff from the supermarkets. It's better for the environment, it's great for the growers, and simply it just tastes better. So Vespas are from Italy, and after a day on the Vespa, I had a craving for the most Italian of dishes, pizza. It's probably not the most traditional, but I've been using honey in my pizza dough for as long as I can remember. It helps activate the yeast and gives a delicious subtle sweetness to the dough. The family loves them, and some pizza and a cold beer was the perfect way to end my time with the Vespa GTS300 HPE. Just like my pizzas, the Vespa is a modern classic, and it's one that I loved riding, partly because of the convenience, but mostly because of how seriously cool it is. What do you think of the Vespa GTS300 HPE? Would you buy one, and what do you think of the colour? If there's a bike you'd like to see me review, let me know in the comments below. Now, breaking news. I may have just bought another bike, because you know you can always have one more. This one I'm pretty excited about, and to celebrate the purchase, we're running a giveaway of one of our brand new t-shirts that we'll be launching along with our online store in the coming months. So to win this cool Biker Talk Grin Factor t-shirt, all you need to do is guess the bike that I've added to the collection. I'll drop a few hints over the coming weeks, and the first hint is the brand of this bike has featured on the channel in this current series. There are a couple of people who already know what the bike is. Needless to say, you guys won't be in the running. To win the giveaway, all you need to do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel and be the first to guess correctly by adding your guess in the comment section. That's all for today. Till next time, stay safe and enjoy your next pie run.